Right. Give this a second to stabilize. Wait for the streams to stabilize, the internets to calm down. All right. Well, hi everyone. My name is Fraser Kane, and this is your virtual star party for June 2nd, 2013. And we've got a very restricted group tonight, so I'm not sure we're going to be going for too long. But we've got 4 astronomers. Well, 3.5 astronomers. Well, two astronomers for sure. One whose focus is a little off. The other one who's got some forest fires. One who's got to go to work shortly, and one who we can't hear him. But we're going to do the best we can to put on a show with what we've got today. And everyone else is busy or rained out or hurricaned out. So let's get to introduce everybody who's here. We've got Andrew Dumbleton, who is the one who's going to be heading out to work because he's in the United Kingdom, but he's bringing us a beautiful view of the moon, even though it's like daytime, a daylight moon. Oh, you've put it right into your lower third, which is great. So, hey, Andrew.
Morning, Fraser. I
Good
lost you a
morning.
bit there.
So, what time is it there for you?
We're about 5:10 in the morning, so it's bright daylight, as you can see.
Yeah, and so that moon that you're going to be showing us in a second is definitely going to be bright daylight. And so feel free to check out and go to work when you need to. No problem. We won't hold it against you.
Will do.
Now we got Bill McLaughlin. I don't think he can hear us, so he's working through some kind of technology issue. So we'll sort of, when he says, "Oh, I can hear you," then we'll sort of get him up to speed. And we got Gary Ganella. You can definitely hear us.
Yes, I can.
Located in LA, and you got some forest fires in the neighborhood.
Not ways away, but a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
There's a big one burning up by Magic Mountain.
What does smoke tend to do to the view that you're doing? I mean, obviously it obscures it, but doesn't it sort of obscure things more on the, like, does it obscure more the red spectrum or the blue spectrum?
I don't know. I've never really shot through smoke. I've never looked it up, so it's an interesting thing to check on, though, what it would do.
Yeah. I know
My
that.
headset is working.
Oh, there we go.
Microphone seems to be working. I'm getting sound from my system, but I'm not getting anything from Google Plus.
We can hear you, but
Can't even tell him
but
how
he
to
can't hear
troubleshoot
us.
He can't hear that you can hear
He
him.
can't hear that we can hear him. Yeah, yeah. So maybe I should put it
Tried
on
the
my lower.
speakers, doesn't make any difference.
I'm gonna have to mute you, Bill. Yeah, you can't hear from the speakers. Anyway, and then we got Roy Salisbury, who's located in Las Vegas. There we go. There's a
Cool.
sign.
They're on chat.
Turn on the chat, Bill. We can talk to you there. Roy Salisbury in Las Vegas,
Yes.
operating remotely his super observatory from a state away.
Yes, these super
You're in another
secret bunker.
state. So now you saying that you're having a bit of a focus issue tonight?
Yeah, I'm having some problems getting a focus locked in for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I'm working through it.
Yeah. Well, we'll sort of see what as you work through it. We'll see where we get. Like I said, this might be the shortest virtual star party ever. And then I know that a lot of the folks on the East Coast are all totally rained out. Scott is in Hawaii right now, and others are busy. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get first. I don't know. Did we lose Andrew's moon? All right. Well, then why don't you tell us what object you're looking at, Roy?
This is M108. It is a galaxy.
Well, this is. I mean, you guys were complaining about this before we even started the show tonight. That this is no season now, right? It's not galaxy
Right.
season really. It's not nebula season. It's not cluster season. It's not. There's no planets. It's really we're in between.
Yeah, you've still got a lot of the galaxies up at the beginning of the night, but they're the same galaxies you've seen for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they get
and
a
this
little old. So trying to find new things is not really this time of year. Is with our weekly star parties, it's not a lot of new stuff. The nebulas don't start coming up until about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Right now.
Yeah, all the good stuff's just hanging right there on the horizon.
So, what are
Yep.
some of the objects that you're looking forward to seeing?
I actually want to try with this new scope. I want to try M57, the Ring Nebula.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one to see. And then get back into M16, get back into things like, Rosette's going to be a little later in the year.
But the Lagoon, the Trifid.
Yeah, the Trifid's going to be another good one. It's a really good, colorful one.
Hey, look at that. Scott Lewis was able to make it from, Hawaii?
From Hawaii, yeah. I'm in
Nice.
Kona right now.
Are you really?
We just got back from the beach, and I saw you're on air, so I thought I'd stop by and say hi.
Right on. We're having some technical issues today, but you know.
It's
We're
all
working through
good. What are we looking at? I got a little bit of time.
Well, we got right now. Roy's pointing at 108. We're just talking about how we're in this lull in between galaxy season, the same galaxies we've been watching for the last couple of months, and the wonderful nebulae that all start to pop up in the summer. So
Right, absolutely.
yeah, and so this is M108, which is in Ursa Major. No, it's in the Virgo supercluster. Yeah, and it's in Ursa Major. So which is the Big Dipper.
I'm trying to get my photos up. Because I was just at Mauna Kea, and I want to brag. You guys
Oh,
think you
really?
have cool telescopes, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of awesome
How did that go? Did you go up
We went to the summit. Yeah, we're up at 14,000 feet, and absolutely amazing. And watching the sunset, and then I got to see the Southern Cross for the first time in my entire life, which was amazing. Like it's one of my favorite constellations, and actually getting to see it with my own eyes was fantastic.
That's great. Now, Thad last week was saying that if you get up to that altitude, you actually have a difficult time seeing the stars. Were you having any problem seeing the stars?
Not too bad. I mean, we watched the sunset, and so we saw Venus come out first, and it wasn't but we went down to the visitor center, which is around 9,000 feet, to do our observations. So I had my binoculars out. We did some star trails and things like that. But no, the skies out here, man. Oh wow!
There we are.
Oh, the skies are gorgeous. Like, what's light pollution? They don't have it out here at all.
Yeah. No, it's just going to be phenomenal. I'd love to go back there and do it. But I remember when we were there, your car rental companies won't let you drive up there because it totally voids the contract. How was the road going up there?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we had a 4x4, so we had a Jeep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was fine going up, because there's only maybe 2.5 miles until you have paved road again, and then it's paved the rest of the way up, and it's gorgeous.
And what kind of facilities do they have for regular folk? Like, if you want to go to Hawaii and you want to visit the observatories, I mean, are there information centers?
Yeah, there's a visitor center there that's open. They have hot chocolate because it's a little cold out there.
Yeah.
And they have amateur astronomers out there with their telescope and doing star parties there all the time.
Really?
And so it was great. So they're doing a star party show while we were just doing our own thing, looking at the different constellations. You can see the Milky Way with your naked eye. It was just gorgeous.
Well, I went camping this weekend out on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and my goal was to be able to see Mercury for the first time. Right, and it didn't work out. It was terrible weather. The west coast is just awful, and so sometimes it's known for storms. Like, a lot of people go there to watch storms. That's what you can see from the west coast of Vancouver Island. So no, today though the weather was beautiful. It's beautiful, blue skies, and so it would have been good tonight to be able to see it. But I had to head home. So no, I brought all my camera, my sort of nice lenses. I was going to try and take some astro photos. Nothing. No luck.
Nothing?
No love. Yeah. So
trying to see if I can pull these pictures up, and they're taking their sweet time loading.
Sure. Well, bring them up when you get them. I want to sort of move. So Andrew, I think I'm sort of showing off your stream of the moon right now. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a bit light. I'm losing a lot of contrast because it is daylight, but yeah, it's a lovely crater called Mare Humorum, which is the big one, and the smaller one that's sort of imposed on it or superimposed on it is called Gazendi.
Well, I don't think a lot of people realize, that you can see the moon during the day. We've talked to people who've been like totally shocked and surprised that they can see the moon during the day, but it's such a bright object that that it's no problem. You could just keep following the moon for hours and hours, and you'd still be able to bring it into the star party.
Yeah, it's got such a large angular size, and the albedo on it reflects so much light that it's so easy to see even when it's daylight out.
Yeah. Yeah, just fantastic. I'm going to move to Gary's view.
We
Okay.
got M81 and M82,
Right.
which is
And those are also under Ursa Major.
the spiral, and then interacting with this one, and you can start to see a little bit of the bulge in the hydrogen alpha on a full color. This is quite colorful, sticking out in red. Turn it to Scott. Say more about it.
I'm still looking at a completely different window.
Okay.
Yeah, bring up your photos. I'm gonna bring up a sort of a Hubble version of M81 so people can see what it looks like. And compare and contrast.
Compare.
Yeah. So you can see here. So that's M81. This is from Hubble, and obviously, Gary's view from his light polluted observatory. But you can really make out that same structure. So you can see it's got these spiral arms above and below, and that really big galactic core. And then here's Gary's view. It's a little twisted off to the side, but you can still see those two spiral arms, that really beefy galactic core, and then off to the side is M82.
See if you can grab Hubble's M82.
Yeah, I will.
It's so beefy.
And so I think these two are interacting, right? Yeah, M81 and M82 are, so M81 is the bigger one, M82 is the smaller one, and the two are interacting.
Right.
But the amazing thing about M82, and like I said, I'm going to bring this one in here, is just this, especially, you can really see the kind of the starburst that's going on right now. Yeah. Check this out.
What?
That work?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
oh, one came
We're
back.
losing people.
Yeah. So when you get these situations where you get these galaxies that are going through some kind of galactic harassment, things like that, you get sort of gas getting compressed in the galaxy, and so you have these periods of really active star formation where the galaxy will use up a big chunk of its hydrogen gas and produce these sort of active star formation. And normally in our galaxy, we're normally producing, say, one brand new star a year, which doesn't sound like a lot, but think about like the length of time that the galaxy's been around, the length of time that the universe has been around. So there's a lot of stars that we're building.
And there's a lot of stuff that goes into creating a star. It's not just like, and you're a star. There's
Yeah, but like with M82 here, it's producing, it's got I'm trying to, what's the 10 times faster. Yeah, so it's got 10 times the star formation that we're going through.
Right.
Comparatively, so you can see it's just a whole other level of star formation, and so you can imagine being in that galaxy, there would just be all these young new hot stars, all this nebulosity going on inside that galaxy. It would just be a sight to behold, and that's what you get when you get these collisions, you get these harassments, you get these tidal tails that are stretching out between these galaxies, and they just start to undergo this star formation. I don't know, maybe the Milky Way went through phases of that in the past, and now it's not. So very cool. So Bill, how's your view going? Are you able to get anything from the
Still
sky?
a little bit light. I'm working on it right now, though.
Is it? Yeah. Well, you're more north, right? So we're actually having this conversation with Gary that for me, it's still really light out.
Yeah.
So there's no way I could point a telescope at the sky, from my location. Oh, you got some images, Scott? Let's see.
There you go. So this is at the summit of Mauna Kea, and let me see if I can pull up a few more. And I'm sorry, these are just coming from my camera phone right now. We have our DSLR stuff that we haven't gone through completely yet. But there's that, and there's another observatory up there. I'm saying we made it just in time for sunset, because I arrived, we kind of regrouped, and then went up the mountain, and it's just amazing trip up there. It's driving through the clouds, getting up to the visitor center, then getting up to 14,000 feet, and watching everything around. It was amazing.
I want one.
Yeah, right.
One of those, yeah.
Let's go halvesies. We'll go halvesies on it. We can timeshare one of the telescopes up there. But yeah, we took a load of pictures. So when we finally are able to go through all of them, there's going to be a few articles that are going to be put out from our trip out here. So it'll be fun.
That's cool. That's so cool. I'm gonna go back to Andrew's view here. It's getting a little dimmer now. Did you switch locations, Andrew?
Yes, I moved to the Mare Imbrium, which you can't really see there, but on the side of it is this wonderful flood-filled crater called the Sinus Iridium, which is the Bay of Rainbows. And it's unfortunate it's not darker because it's fantastic illumination on this just at the moment. But as you say, I'm losing it, so what I'll do is I'll just try and run along the Terminator because I think I shall have to leave in a minute. So let me just run along and see what we've got. So you can see various pockmarked regions of the moon. There's Mare Humorum again, and some rather more interesting highland areas. Yeah, lots of craters there.
Lots of craters. I know. I love your view.
That's great. And so, if the term Terminator is not about a robot sent from the future to kill John Connor, it is the line, but it's both. It is the line on the moon that sort of separates the dark side from the light side. So it's the line of shadow across the moon, and that, of course, moves across the moon over the course of the lunar month.
For us, so it's going right to left always.
That's just terrific. Okay, I'm going to move to Roy's view. What is that? Is that the sombrero?
No, this is NGC 4217. I believe some say it's like a companion to M106.
So what was it? NGC 42?
4217. Yep.
Oh. I don't think we've ever seen that one before.
That's why I'm trying to find these things that I've never taken a picture of.
Yeah. So companion galaxy to M106.
M106, yeah.
That's really neat. Let me find another picture of it here. They all kind of look
I've
like
got to
yours.
get running, guys, but I did want to stop in and say hi.
All right. Well, congratulations on your awesome trip. I hope you have a bunch more pictures for next week.
Oh yes, I'll have a bunch put out in the next week or so, and so have fun, and I will see you next week for the virtual star party.
All right, man.
All right.
Cool.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information on NGC 4217.
No, there's not a lot online. There's a couple of pictures, some really good pictures, but no real detail.
Yeah. Canis venatici. Very cool. That's great. But I mean, you can really, of course, you're seeing an edge-on galaxy here, and you can see that the bulge, the central bulge, where all of the you can see the stars above and below the disk in the middle there, and you can see this kind of dark dust lanes along the edge of the galaxy. And so this is the kind of thing that if we saw the Milky Way from seen edge on, this is what it would look like. Now M106, did you already image M106? You did, right? Can you get M106?
No, I did 108.
Can you get 106?
Yeah, I should be able to get 106.
Yeah. And so that's nearby in the same constellation.
Right.
And so you get these situations. I mean, so we have constellation. We have satellite galaxies around the Milky Way, right? We have the Large and Small Magellanic Cloud. We have various dwarf galaxies as well. And so, these galaxies are in the process of being consumed, really. In some cases they'll orbit us, and we'll sort of, the tidal forces will draw stars to and from, or they'll just get actually gobbled up, and that makes the galaxy grow larger and larger. And in fact, this is the process that's going to happen between us and Andromeda in the next 10 billion years or so, because Andromeda is heading directly towards us. And so in about 10 billion years, the two galaxies will collide with each other and form a giant elliptical galaxy.
I like how they say collide.
Collide.
There's
I know
nothing
collide is
ahead.
such a it's such a nebulous term, right? Because they're not actually going to collide. What you're going to get is you're going to get the situation that the stars are just going to pass through each other, and the gas and dust though is going to collide and sort of meet in the middle, and that's what's going to sort of start off a whole new series of star formation in this combined object. It's strange. The comment system is not working. So. Just to let people know, you can make some requests if you want. You can also give us any comments or questions or feedback. Just if you're watching this on Google Plus, you can just make a post on my stream where I posted it in Google Plus. You can make a comment or a question on the event page, or you can post on the on YouTube, or if you want, just on Twitter, use the hashtag StarParty, and we'll get it there. Let's see. BTL743 notes that you can see the Terminator on the Phases of the Moon app. You can absolutely see the Terminator on the Phases of the Moon app. And in fact, we just released a big update to the Phases of the Moon, which has high resolution. So before, as you expanded the view of the moon, the resolution got a little worse. But now we've put much, much higher resolution images. So now as you expand the moon, I'll sort of show you here. This works here. So this is our app, and so I don't know if it works if you can see, but as you zoom in, it gets more and more high resolution. So you kind of can't. It never looks bad because before it used to look kind of low resolution. I felt really bad about it. I'm like, oh, I wish it looked really good. So now it's, but the size of the app's a little bigger. All right, so I'm going to move to Gary's view.
This is our favorite, the Owl Nebula, and its companion galaxy that we're going to get called the Pussycat.
Yeah, I've told our writers now that's what they have to do. They have to call it the Pussycat. So if they're going to write about the Owl Nebula, they also have to refer to it. So this is M97, and it's another planetary nebula. So this is one of these situations where, in the far, far future of a star's life, after it goes through the main sequence phase, it puffs out its outer layers of its atmosphere and sort of expands out into this red giant phase, and then compacts down, and you get this complicated structure of this atmosphere that sort of floats outward. And it all depends on the shape that you get. Really, all depends on the sort of how the white dwarf in the middle is now spinning, or how its magnetic fields are sort of tweaking and torquing the gases around the object. And so in this case, it's you get the situation where you've got these two lobes inside the gases that are being carved out by the the forces of this white dwarf star, and so it looks like these eyes. And there was actually a really great description. There was the Ring Nebula, which is one of our favorites, and how the Ring Nebula is really a donut. It's actually a donut shape. And it's been, the gas and dust is getting carved out in this donut shape. I'm going to bring up another view of the owl here. Here. If you can see that.
And for those who are curious, I also have a satellite in the left corner.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Or a laser beam.
Could be.
Yeah, there it is, over on the left-hand side. Yeah.
Stars shooting at each other again.
But we can tell, right? When we see just the line, we know that's a satellite. When we see the blinky, then we know that's an airplane, right?
Right.
Yeah, Bill, have you got something there? I'm just seeing your.
Oh, that's
observatory.
just I'm still too light, I'm afraid. I don't know. It's
okay.
not so good here. So I'm just waiting. Hopefully the stars will get bright enough before the star party gets over.
Ian Caldecott asks, what is the app called? It's called Phases of the Moon. Mike Perry's asking for the Ant Nebula. Do you know what the Ant Nebula is?
That one doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, let me see. Where is it located? Constellation Norma. Is that in the southern hemisphere? Yeah, it's between Scorpius and Centaurus. So no, we can't get it. We're all located in the northern hemisphere right now. So, is this a photograph or is this live, Gary?
It's live.
That's the Ring Nebula?
This is our first Ring Nebula of the season.
Hey,
It's
nice.
just over the horizon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
You
that's
beat me to
taken
it.
without any binning, so I can get the maximum magnification on it.
Oh, it looks fantastic.
I was going to do it tonight, but he beat me.
You still
I
can.
did.
You still
Had to
can.
beat you at something.
That's fantastic. That's wonderful.
But that's our buddy the Ring. And
Oh,
there
I
it
love
is in
that.
my full view.
What else we got? Someone wanted to see M5 or M13. Those should be up.
Yeah, I can do those. Or Gary can.
Yeah.
And M60. Someone's also asked for M61.
61, huh?
Yeah, which is also in Virgo.
Oh, it's just M61. Let me see if I can pull something
Yeah.
out on that.
All right, I'm going to move to Roy's view here. So, Roy, what is this? Is that the needle?
Yeah, that's my favorite, NGC 4565. I just like it because it's a pretty good size for my field of view, and it's got really good definition in it.
Yeah, so this is another edge-on spiral galaxy. So it's the same kind of thing that we were seeing before with that companion to M106, and so it's the same thing. You've got this you're seeing the spiral galaxy, but you're seeing it edge-on, and so you're getting this dark dust lane along the edge there, and you can see the galactic center, the halo, just sort of bulging out above and below the edge of the galaxy. It's great.
That's really gorgeous, Roy.
Yeah.
One of these nights, I'm just going to do it all night long.
So what's funny is that so this was one of the galaxies that was discovered by Sir William Herschel, and it was one of the ones that Messier missed. So a lot of people think that it's bright enough, it's large enough that it really should be in the Messier catalog, and it sure looks like a comet. You can imagine that Messier would have put it down on his list of things to remember to not get confused by when he sees it. But yeah, it sort of had to be. It was added by Herschel, so.
We'll let him slide. It's a big sky.
Or he discovered it as a comet like 14 times.
Yeah.
He just kept saying, "Oh, I found this new comet." Yeah, that's great. 4725. What's that? Can you do that one? 4725?
4725.
It's in Coma Berenices. Is that up right now?
Let's see.
It should be up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to try that one?
As soon as I finish this M106, I'll swing on over.
Okay, great. It's an all request night.
Yep.
That's gonna be very galaxy related. All right, I'm gonna move back to Gary's view. Oh, you're still showing off the Ring Nebula.
Yeah. Trying to get the exposure on M61.
I really like the Ring Nebula. That I have these moments as an amateur astronomer, and this was one of them. Was seeing the Ring Nebula for the first time because you see it in this book, you look it up in the sky, and you find this object, and there's this is what it looks like. It looks like that in your eyepiece under it's teeny tiny, but it's definitely there, and you definitely see this view. It's just wonderful.
For me, it was the Dumbbell Nebula.
Yeah.
That looks like an apple core.
Well, I guess it depends on when you got your telescope, right? Like I got my telescope in, I think, June when I was like 13 years old. And so the first things I saw and learned to observe was the Ring Nebula, M13, and then Saturn happened to be up, and so I was able to get Saturn at the time, and the Moon, of course. And then, as I went into fall, but all of my observing was really done over the summer, because here on the West Coast, it's awful in the winter. We never get any real clear nights. And cold.
Quick note, right here, I'm pretty sure that's a cosmic ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get them every once in a while, and that one looks like it came in almost parallel with the sensor, so it looks like it ran through and hit a bunch of pixels.
Wow.
Yeah,
a drunk alien in his spaceship.
So cosmic ray hit my detector.
So you've got like a cosmic ray detector.
Yeah. In fact, that's an interesting thing. The astronauts in the space station see the flashes with their eyes closed when the cosmic rays hit their eye.
Yeah. So now we did a whole episode on Astronomy Cast about cosmic rays, but these are actually particles. They're not rays like sunlight. They're not in the visible spectrum or gamma radiation or X-ray. They're actually particles that have been accelerated to sort of massive energies, and they're traveling at almost the speed of light.
Yep, and they hit everything.
Well, I mean, they actually sort of smash into the atmosphere, and then they get kind of exploded by the atmosphere. And so they have these great systems of detecting them. So if you want to detect them, you want to be out in space. But they have these great detectors. What are they called? This HESS. But they can see the sort of cascade of particles that come through the atmosphere when these cosmic rays smash into the atmosphere, and they can detect that and then sort of track back. And so I think the source. What was the source of cosmic rays? Yeah, some of them have really high energies. So supernova, and then active galactic nuclei. So these are the around supermassive black holes. You get this accretion disks. You get all this material that's waiting to die, right? It's all piling up, and you can get these really high energy particles flowing out of them, and gamma ray bursts. So it's cool that you're detecting them. That's awesome.
Yep.
So you got what have you got now?
That's a 1 minute of M61. I'm doing a 2-minute exposure right now. The galaxy's right here. I can zoom in a little bit, but again, my scope isn't the best for small galaxies, but you can see it there with the ring, with its spirals. I've got a 2-minute one going right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting galaxy, though. I'm going to get a view of it from Spitzer for you. See if this works. So here's sort of the view from the Spitzer Space Telescope.
Well, you can tell it's the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But remember, people, the important thing is this is live, or as close as you can get to live.
Yeah. As opposed to a space telescope that costs billions of dollars to launch. So what's cool about
NASA let them use their telescopes like this.
Yeah. So what's cool about this galaxy is that it's got an active galactic nucleus. So when in the olden days, there were these objects called quasars, and astronomers just didn't really know what they were. They knew there was these really bright point-like objects, but they were super far away, and they just didn't know what they were. In fact, I was watching Cosmos just like a year ago, and in that Carl Sagan was like, what are these quasars? We don't really know what they are. Some astronomers think that they're bright galaxies, but now we know that they are the actively feeding supermassive black holes. So, astronomers have found a black hole at the heart of pretty much every single galaxy out there. And sometimes this galaxy is quiet and it's not doing anything. There's nothing's falling into it. And other times it's actively consuming and gobbling up material. And so then as it does, this material piles up around the black hole, kind of, waiting in line to die, and this material heats up and gets really bright, and so and it starts to emit radiation. So this is not actually coming from the black hole itself; it's just coming up from the region just right around the black hole, and so you get these these streams, these jets of material that come out, and depending on where this jet is facing, how we see it, it changes sort of our perspective of the sort of what kind of an object it is. And so if we see it edge on, then it's one kind of active nucleus, and if we see it face on and we're actually looking straight down that jet, it's a quasar. And so this is an example of a galaxy that's going through an active feeding phase, and it's also it's classified as a starburst galaxy.
Yeah, an interesting little bit. I remember in the 60s when I first heard about quasars, and they basically said they were giving off more energy than is possible because they assumed it was radiating in all directions.
Yeah.
And then they found out it's a very tight beam, and now it's possible. But for them to emit that much energy omnidirectionally would be doesn't fit our physics.
Dale Jacobs asked, do we actually monitor Google Plus comments? We do monitor Google Plus comments. We also monitor them on YouTube and on Twitter. But there's a lot of places that people can comment, and so we don't always sort of find all the spots. So the best place to do it is to go to YouTube. If you want to make absolutely sure, the tool that we use to gather the comments feeds them through onto YouTube quite safely. So that's what I recommend. What else? Man, more.
This is the 2-minute exposure. I got a little bit more detail in it.
So someone's saying, how about a couple of shots of 1998 QE2? So this is this big asteroid that flew past the Earth. You probably could get it.
If you see it at all, it would look like a star.
A dot, yeah. And but if you sort of gathered a couple of images and sort of did a blink test, you'd probably start to see it. But I don't know if you're equipped to do that. Got a request for M63. I'm going to go back to Roy's view here. Bill, have you got something updated, or are you still too light? Yeah, it's still too bright. Bill's in Oregon, so we were talking at the beginning of the show just how, I'm sort of, for here, I could just now start being able to show the night sky, and Bill's just a little south of me. So Roy, which one is this now?
That is M106. That was that companion one.
That's terrific. Looks really great.
And just since we're talking for any new people, Roy is in the middle of darkness. He's got a remote observatory, and he can just look at light. I am in the Los Angeles light-polluted basin, and I shoot with very narrow band filters. I usually use hydrogen alpha, which is a red light, and it cuts everything else out but that light. So I see all the excited hydrogen in the universe. If I try to take anything with normal, without the filters, I just don't get a good picture. But Roy has a very dark location, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, these are 3-minute luminance images. So just by the fact that they're letting pretty much every bit of light through except for infrared, and I don't get the washed out background, you can tell how dark it is.
Yeah. I'm jealous of Roy's setup, but then again, when something breaks in mine, I got to walk about 20 feet to fix it.
Yeah.
So I'll show another example of M106 here. Again, not to compare, but so that's a view from Hubble, I think. That's from it's a composite view. So you're seeing it in a bunch of wavelengths. You're seeing it in infrared, you're seeing it in X-ray, and you're seeing it in visible light. And so it's actually an example of a Seyfert galaxy. So it's another kind of galaxy with an actively feeding supermassive black hole. But in this case, we're not seeing like down the throat of the quasar, of the supermassive black hole. We're seeing it sort of off to the side. But same thing, it's going through active star formation, and the disk is kind of a little bit warped, but it's it's just a terrific galaxy. And I wonder if it's happening from its interactions with that companion that we saw earlier.
Entirely possible, I suppose.
And I'm going to move to Gary's view again.
Okay, that is a 1 minute bin 2x2 of M51. So I can zoom in a little bit, and I'm presently doing a 2 minute exposure.
And you're getting that satellite along the side there.
It almost looks like it's a tumbling satellite too, because it's
changing in brightness. Yeah, it's really interesting.
But there's the M51 Whirlpool galaxy with the two that are interacting, and when you get a high-res picture, you can see that there's a lane of stars and dust connecting the two.
Yeah.
So they're doing the tango.
BTL 743 is noting that it's kind of quiet tonight. It is kind of quiet tonight. A lot more thoughtful tonight. And also I'm trying to host and explain and track the comments and so on. So I can only think of so many things at the same time.
I apologize to everybody out there. I didn't even try to read the comments. I have a lot of trouble doing one thing at a time. So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's definitely a lot more fun when we've got more people. So, but yeah, M51, which is great. What a beautiful galaxy.
Let me. I should have the 2 minute one. Here we go. A little bit now. Let me stretch it a little bit. A little bit better exposure.
So, and this is actually this is our logo for the virtual star party. Is your image of M51?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and it's also known as the Whirlpool galaxy. And of course, you can see this companion. The companion's NGC 5195, and they're undergoing a sort of, again, this sort of galactic harassment, this gravitational harassment that we've been talking about. Yeah, it's just fantastic.
A little bit more detail.
Yeah. If you can bring it back, zoom it back in again.
See part of the arm. I can go in quite a ways. This is also one that I think it was 2 years ago now had a supernova.
Supernova in June. 2005. Yeah, and there was one in 2011. Yeah.
So I got pictures of that.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, that a lot of the supernova that are discovered are often discovered by amateurs. There's a great guy out of Australia who has got this phenomenal memory of the night sky, and he just moves from object to object, looks at each galaxy, goes, nope. Oh, there's something new, and then he goes, oh, see, and he checks and yeah, there's a supernova. And so it's like one of the most prolific supernova hunters is an amateur with a big telescope who just moves fast and just has a phenomenal memory of the night sky.
Okay, let me see if we can find something else here.
So people want to know what kind of scope you have, Roy.
This is a 10-inch RC, so it's sort of like Gary's telescope, but it's just a minor difference. Whereas the back mirror, it's a 2-mirror system, but the back mirror doesn't move compared to the SCTs, which the back one moves to focus. So
who actually made that? Is it an Astrotech, Astronomics?
Yeah. This is an Astrotech.
If I can get a shot of what they look like.
Roy?
Yes, this is the newest one.
Cool. Not a cheap telescope.
No.
I'm trying to find something else of interest, and I'm not having a lot of luck here.
Well, we had a couple of requests. I don't know if we've already done them all.
M61 we got. What else we got?
Well, somebody wants so Quinn Fitzpatrick wants to know how wide is your view, Gary, in arc minutes?
It is just about 1 arc minute high by 1 arc minute wide, 1.5 wide.
Arc minute or degrees?
degrees.
Yeah.
Degrees,
And
I'm
a
sorry,
degree
yeah.
is 60 arc minutes,
60
right?
arc
So
minutes, yes.
yeah, so it's about 60 by 90 arc minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's like 63 by 92 or something like that, so real close. So it's a wide angle.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And what have you switched to, Roy?
That is the requested 4725.
Oh yeah.
Which is a little trailing there. Temperature's changing enough where my focus is going out too.
What's your field of view on this scope, Roy?
This one is, oh, that's a good question. I can always forget.
So
This
the
one
neat
is 31 by 23
Okay.
degrees, or minutes.
Minutes.
so the neat thing about this one is it actually only has one spiral arm. So you can't quite make it out in Roy's view here, but like with the Milky Way, it's got these two spiral arms, right? It's got the, like this, right? I don't know if you can see it. But this one, it's actually just got the one that sort of wraps around it. So I'm not sure what happened to the other one. There you go. There's Corey joining us for like 5 minutes, and then we'll be shutting it down.
Were there any other requests? Roy did 4725. Did you
Yeah,
send
let me
others?
just see if we got them all. Right, so BTL 743 wanted 4725, so there you go. Miguel Zepeda asks, I have a Celestron SE Nexstar 8 SE. Can I get those galaxies and stuff you show here? What camera do you recommend? So absolutely, you can get these objects with that with an 8-inch Nexstar. No question.
What you're going to get is on that one. I believe that's a single arm mounted scope.
Mhm.
You're not going to get as good a tracking, and they're not really good. They're not really made for astrophotography. But sure, you could get some short exposure stuff with that.
Yeah.
30, 60-second exposures should be fine.
I guess I'm kind of a old school guy on that on the subject of astrophotography. There's so many people I see, and including myself, that go through endless iterations of equipment and wind up spending 5 times what they should instead of, buying the really solid mount in the first place.
Right.
But it's hard to predict how much you want to spend on a given hobby when you're getting started. So it can be difficult. Do you buy the cheaper stuff and just dabble, or do you buy the more expensive stuff where you're going to be less frustrated? It's a difficult thing to know. I do have something up here now.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit faint and fuzzy. I got another one I'm working on right now. It's NGC 4244.
So it's another edge-on spiral.
Another edge-on spiral. It's in Canis Venatici, also known as Caldwell 26.
What was it? 4244?
4244.
Yeah. That's really cool. But you can see just how much brightness you've got still in the sky.
It's going away now, though, so I've got another one I'm working on at the moment.
And we'll give Corey a chance to blow us away here, and then we'll wrap up the start party. Yeah, Gary's view we've seen.
Yeah, I'm working on some.
I was working there, Corey. Can you hear us? He might not have his mic hooked up tonight. Let's see. Do we get everyone's requests?
I'm going to try one of the globulars and see what I can do with
M80.
that.
Someone wants M80. Yeah, and somebody wanted M13.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing M13 now.
Okay, great. I think we'll make that the last couple objects.
I should have one more to squeeze in here.
Sure, that'd be great. I'm gonna let Corey squeeze one in, unless he can't hear us. Mike Zille is asking if we have time to look at the Eagle Nebula, and it's still not up, right?
Yeah, it's not.
I can hear you. Do you want me to just queue something up quick, Fraser?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we was gonna wrap up the Star Party now, so.
Okay, cool.
Aw, another Ring Nebula.
There's my ring. Needs a lot more exposures.
It's great though. You can start to see some of that kind of that nebulosity in the middle. I mean, it's not just a ring. You also get this sort of really neat color right in the middle.
Right. This was only 60 seconds, so there's a lot of noise in it still.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna see Corey's view here. What do you got, Corey?
81 and 82. My guess, yeah.
Yeah, and there's more in there too. You can see another galaxy up at the top. That's great. And then Bill, which is this now?
That's NGC 5907.
Another edge on spiral.
Another edge on spiral. I'm just boring tonight. And I've got a color one of it. I'm in a different scale. I'm going to bring up here in just a second as soon as I get it base processed.
What method are you using to bring the color images?
That's just DSLR. The one you're looking at now is a TOA 130 with a 11,000. Excuse me, a SBIG STT 8300. And the color one here is a Canon 5D Mark III on a Stellar View refractor.
And so you just have, that's right, I remember you had sort of all these telescopes on the same mount, so they're all just...
Right, yeah, they're all on the same mount.
So they're all viewing the same object, and then you can just switch the view.
Exactly.
Cool. And Corey, what have you got there? Is that Vega? $120 seconds of Vega at 800 ISO, I'm guessing. That's really cool. All right, well, I think I can see where this is going, so I'll let you start to bring up that last image, but I'm going to start to wrap stuff up now. So it looks like we've got everyone's requests. Sorry we weren't more active tonight. We left all our silly astronomers in other places tonight, but we'll get some entertaining people for you guys next week. So I won't have to be explaining and running the show at the same time. So, Roy, is that still the same one? You haven't done an updated process on this yet?
Nope, I'm downloading M13 now. It's gonna take a minute or so.
All right. Well, we'll get a view of that as soon as we can. And Gary, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Okay, this is M80.
You got M80? All right, let's see.
And I just brought up a color image of the same thing.
Oh, great. Oh, it's really nice. I love the color views.
Smaller scope, so a smaller, image, but
yeah, that's terrific. And Roy, thank you again. You're sorry you're having these focus problems tonight.
Yeah, I just got a little teething problems. Just gotta.
But is this something you can reach out and handle remotely, or do you have to?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah, I can do it all remotely. It's just I got to get all my software all reconfigured for the cameras and the scopes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I wish I could have been more help tonight, but the sky doesn't want to get dark.
No, I know. It's gonna be another couple of months before we can
get a friend of mine coming over next week to do some imaging, and he said, yeah, he's coming over for the 20 minutes of dark that we actually have this time of the year.
Yeah, and I get even less. So by on the 21st, it's pretty much light until 10 o'clock for sure. You can get around at 10 o'clock at night.
Our astronomical twilight tonight starts at about 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's still a little bit blue in the sky right now here on the West Coast. So, cool. Well, I'm going to wrap this up then. So thanks, everybody, for watching. We're going to be recording a mountain of astronomy casts in the next week. So if you have any interest in watching astronomy casts, this will be your week. So we're going to get a bundle of them recorded and try and catch up as much as we can. So just watch that in the next few days. So sorry we couldn't be more crazy tonight. Quiet, introspective, looking at galaxies. But thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks to all the astronomers for pitching in. We really appreciate it. It's a wonderful view. And thanks for everyone's requests. All right. Well, we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
So trying to find new things is not really this time of year. Is with our weekly star parties. It's not a lot of new stuff. The nebulas don't start coming up until about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Right now.
Yeah, all the good stuff's just hanging right there on the horizon.
So, what are some of the objects that you're looking forward to seeing?
I actually want to try with this new scope. I want to try M57, the Ring Nebula.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one to see, and then get back into M16. Get back into things like Rosette's going to be a little later in the year.
But the Lagoon, the Trifid.
Yeah, the Trifid's going to be another good one. It's a really good, colorful one.
Hey, look at that! Scott Lewis was able to make it from Hawaii.
From Hawaii, yeah. I'm in Kona right now.
Are you really?
We just got back from the beach, and I saw you're on air, so I thought I'd stop by and say hi.
Right on. We're having some technical issues today, but you know,
it's all good. What are we looking at? I got a little bit of time.
Well, we got right now. Roy's pointing at 108. We're just talking about how we're in this lull in between galaxy season, the same galaxies we've been watching for the last couple of months, and the wonderful nebulae that all start to pop up in the summer. So
right, absolutely.
Yeah, and so this is M108, which is in Ursa Major. No, it's in the Virgo supercluster. Yeah, and it's in Ursa Major. So which is the Big Dipper.
I'm trying to get my photos up. Because I was just at Mauna Kea, and I want to brag. You guys
really?
You have cool telescopes, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a bunch of awesome pictures.
How did that go? Did you go up the...
We went to the summit. Yeah, we're up at 14,000 feet, and absolutely amazing. And watching the sunset, and then I got to see the Southern Cross for the first time in my entire life, which was amazing. Like it's one of my favorite constellations, and actually getting to see it with my own eyes was fantastic.
That's great. Now, Thad last week was saying that if you get up to that altitude, you actually have a difficult time seeing the stars. Were you having any problem seeing the stars?
Not too bad. I mean, we watched the sunset, and so we saw Venus come out first, and it wasn't. But we went down to the visitor center, which is around 9,000 feet, to do our observations. So I had my binoculars out. We did some star trails and things like that. But no, the skies out here, man. Oh, wow.
There we are.
Oh, the skies are gorgeous. Like, what's light pollution? They don't have it out here at all.
Yeah. No, it's just going to be phenomenal. I'd love to go back there and do it. But I remember when we were there, your car rental companies won't let you drive up there because it totally voids the contract. How was the road going up there?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we had a 4x4, so we had a Jeep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was fine going up. Because there's only maybe...
Turn on the chat, Bill. We can talk to you there. Roy Salisbury in Las Vegas, yes, operating remotely his super observatory from a state away.
Yes,
you're in another state. So now you're saying that you're having a bit of a focus issue tonight?
Yeah, I'm having some problems getting a focus locked in for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I'm working through it.
Yeah. Well, we'll sort of see what as you work through it. We'll see where we get. Like I said, this might be the shortest virtual star party ever. And then I know that a lot of the folks on the East Coast are all totally rained out. Scott is in Hawaii right now, and others are busy. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get first. I don't know. Did we lose Andrew's moon? All right. Well, then why don't you tell us what object you're looking at, Roy?
This is M108. It is a galaxy.
Well, this is, I mean, you guys were complaining about this before we even started the show tonight, that this is no season now, right? It's not galaxy
Right.
season, really. It's not nebula season. It's not cluster season. It's not, there's no planets. It's really, we're in between.
Yeah, you've still got a lot of the galaxies up at the beginning of the night, but they're the same galaxies you've seen for the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they get
and
a
this
little
is-
old.
Right. Give this a second to stabilize. Wait for the streams to stabilize, the internets to calm down. All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Fraser Kane, and this is your virtual star party for June 2nd, 2013. And we've got a very restricted group tonight, so I'm not sure we're going to be going for too long, but we've got 4 astronomers. Well, 3.5 astronomers. Well, two astronomers for sure. One whose focus is a little off. The other one has got some forest fires. One who's got to go to work shortly, and one who we can't hear him. But we're going to do the best we can to put on a show with what we've got today. And everyone else is busy or rained out or hurricaned out. So let's get to introduce everybody who's here. We've got Andrew Dumbleton, who is the one who's going to be heading out to work because he's in the United Kingdom, but he's bringing us a beautiful view of the moon, even though it's like daytime, a daylight moon. Oh, you've put it right into your lower third, which is great. So, hey, Andrew.
Morning, Fraser. I
Good
lost
morning.
you a bit there.
So, what time is it there for you?
We're about 5:10 in the morning, so it's bright daylight, as you can see.
Yeah, and so that moon that you're going to be showing us in a second is definitely going to be bright daylight. And so feel free to check out and go to work when you need to. No problem. We won't hold it against you.
Will do.
Now we got Bill McLaughlin. I don't think he can hear us, so he's working through some kind of technology issue. So we'll sort of, when he says, "Oh, I can hear you," then we'll sort of get him up to speed. And we got Gary Ganella. You can definitely hear us.
Yes, I can.
Located in LA, and you got some forest fires in the neighborhood.
Ways away, but a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
There's a big one burning up by Magic Mountain.
What does smoke tend to do to the view that you're doing? I mean, obviously it obscures it, but doesn't it sort of obscure things more on the, like, does it obscure more the red spectrum or the blue spectrum?
I don't know. I've never really shot through smoke. I've never looked it up, so it's an interesting thing to check on, though, what it would do.
Yeah. Well, I know
My
that,
headset is working.
Oh, there we go.
Microphone seems to be working. I'm getting sound from my system, but I'm not getting anything from Google+.
We can hear you. But
Can't even tell him.
but
how
he
to
can't hear
troubleshoot
us.
He can't hear that you can hear him.
He can't hear that we can hear him. Yeah. So maybe I should put a
Tried the
on my lower-
speakers, doesn't make any difference.
I'm gonna have to mute you, Bill. Yeah, you can't hear from the speakers. Anyway, and then we got Roy Salisbury, who's located in Las Vegas. There we go. There's a
Cool.
sign.
They're on